good vibe, we shine on the light. Welcome to chat night, we bring you good vibe, we shine on the light. We all over the world, chat night Africa. We all over the world, chat night Africa. Welcome to chat night, we bring you good vibe, we shine on the light. Welcome to chat night, we bring you good vibe, we shine on the light. We all over the world, chat night Africa. We all over the world, chat night Africa. Welcome to chat night, the only place that we give you good vibe. Chat night Africa. Welcome to chat night, all over the world we are shining the light. Chat night Africa. Welcome to chat night.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of Voices of Africa. My name is Divine Chamukong, and I'm anchoring this broadcast from Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. The tradition of setting New Year resolutions began 4,000 years with the ancient Babylonians. January 13 every year is set aside to recognize who set New Year goals and failed to achieve them, and to encourage and equip them to try and try again with the goal to ultimately succeed. Keywords: try, try again, and ultimately succeed. Research has for the year by the 2nd of January. Still hanging on to yours? Well, let's see how far you go. Truth be told, many people do things because they see others doing them. I'm not talking about children. You too, we adults. Otherwise, what explains people quickly abandoning resolutions they were so determined to pursue? Ladies and gentlemen, to discuss the twists and turns about New Year resolutions, personal I invited a psychologist, Dr. Divine Change. I also invited a lady and gentleman on this show when addressing them, Dr. Florence Njoyi. She is Doctor of Behavioral Health, and we thought we'd be having Mr. Geoffrey Godfrey Esau live from Cameroon, but because of problems, I should say, the endemic problems of electricity in Limbe now, he cannot join us. Ladies and gentlemen, join me now in welcoming Dr. Divine Change, my namesake. I'm Divine Chamukong, and he's Divine Change. Here is Divine on the platform.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. D. I'll call you. It's my pleasure having you for the first time on Voices of Africa. Now, you have some opening statements to make.
Yes, and just like you rightly said, Divine, my namesake, first I'd like to thank you for bringing me on, because this issue of New Year resolutions, it actually sets the pace for the year, or should set the pace for the year. And most of the times we set New Year resolutions because we have reviewed all what happened in the last year, and we find a need to make some changes. But along the line, because we do not have appropriate reason, we do not know how to set goals, we are not motivated, and for many other reasons, we do not fall through with our goals. And it is not only you, if you were wondering, in the United States of America, more than 50% of Americans set New Year resolutions every year, but less than 8% actually follow through. As a matter of fact, 30% of Americans who set New Year resolutions do not or fail to accomplish or even continue with the habit or behavior in the first 3 weeks. So it is an issue, and I am glad that Divine is having this conversation. So we will talk about it. I am excited. So I would like to take your questions, and I know we are going to have a great time. Thank you so much.
That's psychologist Dr. Divine Chianga. Well, it's an issue. When we identify an issue, we believe if it's something you can relate to, we are here on it on Chat Night Africa to discuss it. Bread and butter issues, kitchen table issues, your health concerns are the things we care a lot about. If it concerns you, it concerns Chat Night Africa. On Chat Night Africa, there are 3 programs running. There is Healthline, on which we talk about health matters. We invite medical doctor specialists to come discuss that. We'll soon be talking about why people die in their sleep, why athletes, physically fit looking, just drop off their feet and die. That discussion is coming up. We also have Family Matters. And then we have what you're watching now, Voices of Africa. Thank you for leaving all the things you had to do to watch this broadcast. Ladies and gentlemen, now let's welcome on Dr. Florence. Here we go.
Good afternoon, and thank you for bringing me up in the show. Yes, I do agree that there is an issue always having resolutions on 1st of January. And most often, when we have those resolutions, because we are excited of the new year, because we feel that we could be able to go through the resolution, or we see family members who have succeeded or friends who have succeeded, and we say, I can be like that person. But along the way, within 3 weeks, by the end of February, the resolution is all gone. You are no more doing it. The behavior is a problem. Probably that's what we're going to address today. We are ready to take questions. And thank you for having this conversation for the population to understand certain things that you have to put in place before you actually have a resolution, you implement it, and you succeed.
You are watching Voices of Africa. My first question is going to go to Dr. Divine Chianga. Dr. Divine Chianga, people tend to take or make New Year resolutions at the start of every new year. There are social critics who say there's nothing like a new year, there's a new you. If you're not moving into another year with a new you, it's all a waste of time. Then my question to you, sir, is New Year resolution or rebranding an admission, an acknowledgement of failure? Are people, in other words, failed in certain things, and so they ought to rebrand themselves?
That is actually a very good question, Divine. And first, I'd like to diagnose that question by talking about rebranding and branding. So there should be a reason why you decide to rebrand. So you'd have to start there. So the question you need to ask yourself is, what was wrong with your former brand that you think it is necessary to rebrand? So that question is pregnant with meaning, because that question is going to bring together and piece some of the issues that were happening before the rebranding decision. So if you made that decision to rebrand, that first and foremost means that there was something wrong, that you discovered that it needs to be changed. So now, before you rebrand, you would have to take adequate steps towards setting goals. First, you would have to ask yourself, what is my why? Why are you rebranding? That is very important because that's going to tie into the piece of motivation. So, motivation is important because that is actually what drives your goal. After you find that motivation, why am I doing this? Let's take, for example, you want to lose weight. Are you losing weight because you found some other people in your circle losing weight and you say, this is something I'd like to actually do? Or are you losing weight because it is for health reasons? Now, you realize that if your doctor told you you have to lose weight or else you are going to acquire diabetes or heart disease or whatever, your goals are going to be a little bit stronger. Your priority is going to be a little bit stronger because you have a strong why. So rebranding in that perspective is important because you have a why. You know your goals and you are setting them. Now, besides that, you'd have to think about how you set goals. And this is very important for the behavior to be maintained and to be done. So your goals have to be SMART. And what is SMART? SMART is an acronym. Sorry, I was saying SMART is an acronym that stands for S stands for specific, M stands for measurable, A stands for achievable, R stands for relevant, and T stands for time sensitive. So it's very important for your goals to be SMART before you look at rebranding. So I'll end there, and I think Divine will talk more about SMART goals, but I think that brings to mind an introduction in branding and rebranding and why we need to rebrand in the first place. Thank you.
You are watching Voices of Africa, and my name is Divine Chamukong. Dr. Divine Changa answering the first question. Ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to throw the first question to Dr. Florence Njowi. Dr. Florence Njowi, did you make New Year resolutions? And if yes, why?
Thank you, G, for that question. Yes, I'm one of the many people who actually do New Year resolution or have New Year resolution. I made one this year. And there are a couple of reasons. When I look at why many people actually have resolutions, they actually think about exercise, think about eating healthy, think about losing weight, saving money, family time. So I told myself this time that let me create more time for the family. And that was my resolution. And I think just within couple of weeks, I'm just telling myself now, a couple of days, not weeks, I'm telling myself, will it be possible that for me, will I achieve that goal of connecting with family, hanging out with family, and having quality family time? When I look at that, I look at, okay, what are those things that could actually help me to actualize this goal? I took into consideration who would be there to assist me or support me in this goal. Where would that happen? For example, I am in the US. 90% of my family is in Cameroon, Africa. How do I connect with them? So I reflected on the challenges, and like Dr. D said, time sensitive. How often will I like to connect? Is that a realistic goal or resolution I'm setting? Time will tell. Thank you for that question. And
You did your doctorate in behavioral health.
Correct.
Am I correct? If you don't mind sharing this personal information with us, at what age did you do it?
Thank you for that question. Many people are so surprised that December 14th, I announced that I'm graduating with a Doctor of Behavioral Health. I actually started at my 50th, my birthday, And I told myself I'm gonna do it. That was the 1st of January, 5 years ago or 6 years
So that
ago.
was that. The reason I ask you this question is just to know whether that was a New Year resolution that you took. It's coming across as yes, being the answer.
Yes, that was a New Year resolution. And with the background of what I do, like a mental health professional, we realized that a lot of things are not going on well in management of condition, management of self, management of finances is all about behavior. So that's why I took that decision. Let me do a bit of education on that and see how best I could actually use it for myself and give it back to the community, how well to make resolutions and get through it and actually succeed with the outcome you were
Dr.
thinking from the
Joey,
time.
Dr. Joey, you were concerned about people's decisions related to their health, related to their finance management, and so on, and that's real because I did some research before this broadcast, and I realized that a lot of people make resolutions. Oh, they want to go to school. They want to manage their finances better. They want to save more for retirement. They want to lose weight, especially you women. They're very conscious about your weight. You succeeded to do your doctorate at 50. Other people make resolutions, they're going to save more money, and they don't. Why did you succeed and others don't?
Basically, thank you for that questions. And personally, I had a couple of things going on. I I I took away procrastination from my agenda. Before then, I used to procrastinate. I said I will do it tomorrow, next day, I will do it. But I realized that procrastination is not a good recipe uh, for having a good resolution and having a good goal to achieve. Secondly, my thought process I told myself that I can do it. If others have done it, yes, I can do it. And I worked on putting all the emotions attached to doing something and coming out with a positive outcome into play so that it helped me to set up those smart goals, like Dr. D said, from time to time. I took it as piecemeal, like just small. I usually put my mother's I usually place myself in my mother's kitchen when she is cooking. She has no recipe book, but all she will do is she will taste the salt. If it's not okay, she adds a bit. She tastes the pepper, it's not okay, she adds a bit. So when I started going through this journey, I adjusted a lot in the goals that I made, especially those that were very huge that I cannot accomplish at a particular time. Then I took baby steps. Baby steps. I did not take a lot of courses. I took just what I can be able to manage. And motivation was very, very huge. I was motivated to get to this final stage and inspire many people. And I'm so happy that from my Facebook post, people talked to me and they called me and said, Grandma, you inspired us. We'll move forward with baby steps, as you've always said, to get to that final stage.
Thank you for that. I'm going to bring up my namesake, Dr. Francis, Dr. Divine Chiange, and I have to mean you have inspired a lot of people who think, oh no, it's too late to go to school, especially us Africans, immigrants. We tend to think, oh no, it's too late to go to school. I don't. It's a mindset we brought with us from home, because tell somebody at the age of 50 to go back to school, they think you are crazy. Thank you so much, Dr. Florence Joy. You are watching Voices of Africa on Chat 9. I'm anchoring this broadcast from Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. Before we bring Dr. D on the platform, yes, you'll find it interesting. to this edition of the broadcast.
So my area of specialty is general preventive medicine.
There is a cause that you've been championing across Africa. What do you call it?
It's called innovative volunteerism.
It's not always clear to interacting parties what it is they're looking for.
Is to ignite the daughters of God with the word of God and to stir them. The Television Corporation, and that was in 1986.
Itself and become cancerous while some may remain non-cancerous.
To make him feel great. So when he goes out, his mind is on me.
All right, let me put it. They partly induced the international community to.
That is right, but it's not.
Congestive heart failure is when the heart vessels weaken and it's not able to pump blood.
You are watching Voices of Africa, coming to you live from Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. At this point, join me once again in welcoming Dr. Divine Shange on the platform. Dr. Divine Shange, what's the relevance of January? Some people have argued that the concept of New Year is an illusion of human creation. They go further to buttress different places have different New Years. Actually, the Babylonians, their New Year started in mid-March. So what is New Year? Anyway, so what is the relevance? What's the relevance of January when people want to rebrand themselves? Why don't you rebrand yourself in June? Why not in August?
Right.
What is so significant about January?
Yeah, so as humans, every society has social constructs, and social constructs are tuned into our lives right from birth. And so there are traditions, cultures, experiences, and these all make who we are. And so time is a very important social construct in the sense that time actually determines how we live. So even in our villages back in Cameroon, we have times for different seasons. So we have time for planting, time for harvesting. We have a day we call a market day. We have a day for burial. We have a day for dances. So time is very important, and time is constructed by us humans to meet certain objectives. And so this new year actually falls right into that narrative, in the sense that New Year, since for us, it opens up a new chapter, in terms of it is a new year, and we all follow that particular calendar year. And I'm sure in cultures that do not follow the calendar of the new year as we do, their own new year, like the culture you say it starts in March, that is their new year, and they also have goals that start at that time. And I think that when the new year opens up, people have a review, people have a retrospective, and they're thinking about all what happened in their lives during the past year, and they are thinking about the changes that they can make for the current year. And that is the significance. It is actually a good thing. But the only thing is, we should not wait until the year ends or until another year is beginning before we try to make resolutions. Because what happens is, when we are very time conscious about the resolutions that we make, some things might happen within the year that might not wait for a new year to actually start before you make those changes. So if you have a 60% artery blockage and you're like, I'm going to start eating very healthy when the new year actually comes, before the new year comes, you might be gone. So resolutions should be made depending on how the need is, depending on your why. And one other thing that I've realized is that the new year has a significance, yes. But what happens is we make goals during the new year first that are not attainable. And even if it's possible for us to achieve these goals, we want to swallow these goals into large chunks. And that is a problem because goals have to be split into hourly, daily, weekly, monthly before expanding to the whole year. You cannot lose 20 pounds in 1 week. That's not possible. You have to track all the small goals that you have within time-sensitive moments before they add up to the major goal that you actually have. That's one of the main reasons why people don't achieve goals, because they don't measure the goals that they want to achieve. And the new year actually gives us a time track. So it should be a time track where you say, okay, it's going to start 1st of January, but let me see what I will do between 1st of January and 15th of January, as opposed to let me see what I will do between 1st of January and 31st of December that same year. Because realize that if you think 31st of December, you have a long time. And when you have a long time, it's easy for you to procrastinate. So yes, the new year sets that pace, but we should bite it into little chunks for it to be successful. I think that is the relevance of the new year.
Thank you for that explanation. Research, as I said in my introduction, Dr. D, shows that a lot of people abandon their resolutions, their rebranding by the 2nd February, by the second Friday in January. So what quenches, what puts out that fire that was burning in January, burning last week in December, the fire to draw resolution, the fire to say, oh, these are my goals, and I'm going to resolutely follow them.
Right.
What happens?
Yeah, so that reminds me of this parable in the Bible that talks about a sower. Sower sowing seeds. You know, you sow some seeds. If the seeds are not sown in healthy soil, you know what happens. If the seeds are sown in healthy soil, you know what happens. So if you look at that parable, you'd realize that depending on where the seeds are sown, but not only that, depending on where the seeds are sown, that's the nature of the soil, depending on how much water it gets, depending on how much sunlight it gets, would actually determine if that seed grows to be a plant that you will desire. So what happens is that the goals are not set on solid soil or on fertile soil. So 1st of January, we come up with these goals. I want to lose 30 pounds this year. But you haven't asked yourself why. Or even if you've asked yourself that question, the reason might not be strong enough to make it a priority. Now, that is a big problem because as working adults, there are a million things we can do with our time. There's only 24 hours in a day for everybody, but you have to decide what is a priority. And that would come into, why am I really doing this? Is this a priority? So that is very important. And that is why people start with goals and they don't, first month it falls off because it turns out that goal is not really a major priority. They don't have a strong why, and it's easy for them to push it out. So that is why I think when you set goals, you should always ask yourself, why am I doing this? And if you ask yourself that question and the reason is not strong enough to make it a priority, that is a problem. There is a high chance that you would easily slide. And
it remains. They remain a wish.
Right.
I was reading somewhere. They say it's a book written by psychologists like you, and there's a powerful line there. The writer says, "Your why has to be bigger than your excuses.
Yes. 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 Because think about it. If it's not bigger than your excuses, it's easy for you to brush it out. And that is actually what happens. Because as working adults, as you know, there is no time you have for yourself that is just sitting around and you're doing nothing. And if your why is strong, so you really, really have to decide, why am I doing this, before you put it in your New Year calendar. So that is why I say it is the first thing. Decide why you're doing this. And it should not be something as simple as, okay, my friend lost weight and I think I should lose weight as well. No, it should be stronger than that. It should be something that tears into your emotions. It should be something that is relevant for you, that builds you, that you would actually gain a lot of value from. And if that is the case, then you have a strong why. Then we can move on to the next step on how to accomplish that. But you must have a strong why.
Dr. Divine Changa, psychologist. You are watching Voices of Africa. In case you're just joining us. And this broadcast is reaching you live from Washington, D.C., metropolitan area. Let me share this with you. If you know somebody doing something that's changing lives, impacting lives, if you know somebody who is turning a challenge into an opportunity, economic opportunity that transforms his life and the lives of others, let us know. These are the kinds of people we also want to bring on to tell their stories. Let's now, at this point, ladies and gentlemen, invite or welcome back the only lady on the platform on the show, Voices of Africa, Dr. Florence Njowi. Dr. Njowi, lots of people do things because they see other people doing them. Here is what Father Morris, one of the greatest supporters of Chat Night Africa, says. Setting goals here in the new year is indispensable. I love the sower and the seed analogy. Thank you, Father Morris Aqua. Thank you so much, sir, Father. I replace your name, Father Morris Aqua, with the phrase or sentence, the people's father. Thank you so much, sir. I truly, truly appreciate you. We appreciate you here at Chat Night Africa. I was asking you before I started reading Father Morris's statement. He just posted. A lot of people do things because they see others doing them. Could that be one reason why some people end up not being able to follow through with what they resolved, their branding, they're redefining themselves of another year?
Thank you, Divine, for that question. I would agree and I would disagree at the same time. Most often,
absolutely, and I before you go on, I appreciate you agreeing and disagreeing. I keep saying that we do not want to run a parliament in North Korea where everybody's writing motions of support. Yes, anytime you disagree with anybody, whether the caller or the person who texts in a statement or even the moderator that I am, please feel free, go ahead. Let us know where you agree first.
Yeah, many people do imitate what others do, like human beings. I was just talking with my women, my colleague women association, a group that I am part of, the women, and I just asked a simple question. What is your New Year resolution and what do you plan to do? And the first lady just simply said, oh, I just plan to be a very good Christian, doing Christian work, praying all the time. Surprisingly, my 12 women said the same thing, although adding certain things. So I do think most people, they are driven by what they see others do or what they see others say, and with that, they tend to make resolutions to improve themselves in one thing or the other, but forgetting to know that they are copycat from somebody that set that goal personally. So generally, people make resolutions to improve themselves. And generally, they look at areas like I earlier mentioned, like the health, the finances, and family. But again, sometimes we always say, imitation leads to danger. And some people imitate to do resolutions like others, but they do not follow up basic motivation or basic the how to achieve that goal. So with that, I do actually really agree that most people will try to do resolutions to better themselves. I will give you another simple example. I did talk with a couple of people in the community about alcohol and smoking. And I did let them know, do you know it's leading to addiction, a behavior that is not good for your health? If you are talking about eating well, having exercise so that you can improve your health or improve your medical condition, for example, diabetes, what about alcohol? What about smoking? And the response was, I just want to better myself. If I give away good food just because I want to eat healthy, good African food because I want to eat healthy, I should compensate on this other side. So basically, they want to get better, but the path they are taking probably will not help them get to that goal where they are trying to get to. On the other side, some people just have resolutions because they want to just have it. It's just a showcase. I've seen a couple of people in the community, they go to register for the gym because it's all over the internet, all over the community, or you have to go to gym to maintain a weight, to maintain health and all the stuff. But they go there just to showcase that they are able to pay the gym, or they are able to have some exercises there and have picture posts on the media. Those people, within the next 2 or 3 weeks, they are all gone out of that goal. So there are many people who will tell us that they pay for gym and for the whole year they don't even go. Then my question is, why do you pay for something that you cannot be able to accomplish? Is that because you wanted just to have that psychological health that you are able to do that, you can make that goal? Or is it just because you are responding emotionally because somebody said you have to have exercise? We get back to the point of motivation and making goals. When you are making your goals to maintain anything that you want to do, it should be a priority, like Dr. D said, and always look at the 5 whys, the 5 W's. The why you are taking that resolution. Is it for your health, or is it just to be better, or is it just to showcase? What will you be doing? And who will be there to support you? Is this just you, your family, your friends, or who will be there to support you? And when are you going to be doing all those things to be able to achieve the goal you have set? And where will you be doing that? When you look at the 5 whys and you set up your goals, you'll be able to come out with that outcome of this resolution is to better myself, or the resolution is not to better myself, but just to make it because others are doing that.
Because others are doing that is usually also why a lot of people make decisions. The reason I ask you that question is because at the start of the new year, the fire is burning. And some people are introverts. They don't say it, they don't go on Facebook to post it. Some people They want everybody to know what they're deciding to do. But before you know it, fire fizzles. Could it also be that, it's New Year, people are deciding to do new things? Why don't I also join the bandwagon? Is the pressure of January also playing a part? Is it a factor?
Yes, I agree. It plays a great factor. Remember, they always say New Year, new fashion. And that small saying in the African community or in Cameroon in particular, it has a lot to do with the psychology of human beings, of how people look at stuff and how they respond to issue. I do remember that in my small women's group, we were just sitting there and said, okay, new year, new fashion. What is your new fashion that you have to take forth? They are pushed forward to say something. But are they saying that because they really want to say it, or they are saying that because they really plan to implement it to make a change in their life? And I would like to add here that there are some people who had New Year resolutions like last year, and they did so well that they carry forward the New Year resolution to this year. I'm thinking about those who are managing chronic conditions. I have a lady who is managing diabetes, and she did so well that her A1C came down to 6, and she said, oh, my New Year resolution this year is to maintain what I did last year that was better. And with that, if you want to do New Year resolutions, you look at, okay, what did you do? Are you only rebranding because you want to rebrand, or you want to rename, or you want to maintain what you did that was better for you?
I tell you the resolution I don't take. Let me share my secret. Let me tell you the resolution I don't take. You see, if I take a resolution to not eat peanuts, I'll be failing. Yeah, you know what? I'll forget about it within the next 10 minutes. 10 minutes after is resolving. Worse still, I come from, if you're not from Cameroon, there's an area in Cameroon called Bali, and we eat a lot of fufu corn, stockfish, fufu corn, huckleberry, what they call njama, and the smoked fish. I guess my friend Rosemary Sablum knows what I'm talking about, even for the aqua. He knows a lot about Bali people. So if I take a resolution that I'm not going to eat fufu corn, I'm just lying to myself, because it just could be what my doctor wants me to say, and I say it, I recite it. Like people recite marriage vows in front of priests, and before you know it, they can't even tell what vows they took. That's a form of resolution people quickly forget about. But that's a subject for another day. You talked about the path. You have to make a resolution, but with a clearly defined path, how you get there. Before I get to that, may I just share here that life, I read somewhere, life is like a test. Everyone has a different question paper. So don't go and say, because Dr. Florence Njowi resolves to not do this, it sounds good, I do it. She's Doctor of Behavioral Science, Health. It sounds good, I do it. Yes, answer your questions your own way. So let me ask you, how do you determine, Dr. Florence Njowi, before I bring to determine what path is the right path to lead you to accomplishing the goals that burned in belly like California hillside fire?
Thank you. In every journey, there is always a path. And that path is, I usually tell everybody, or I tell myself, that path is you with the decisions that you take. If you make a resolution, for example, like the one I did, that I would drink a liter of water every day, you have to determine, where are you going to get the water? Who will be there to help you? Do you need consultation? Do you need resources? Do you need support? Or are you just like an island that you'll be able to achieve it? So your path needs to be that one which is which includes, like I earlier said, all the 5 whys, all the 5 W's, the why you are doing that, maybe at the right beginning where you are starting your journey, you identify the priority of why you have to take that decision in your personal life. Remember that most often in our culture, we always start about the we. We are a family. We are women. We are this. But with resolution and achieving your resolution is the I. If you do a resolution like an individual to improve your own health or improve your own self, is the I first. Then when you look at that, where does your journey start? Is it you writing down your journals every day? You write it down to see what you are doing. Is it you to do a timeline, have it on your calendar? Is it you to consult somebody, to talk to somebody, to help somebody, to look for a mentor? Or what do you need to do? Is it when are you starting? When are you doing it? And where will that be happening? So with my resolution of drinking a liter of water every day, I make sure that on my desktop, I have water. I make sure that on my kitchen counter, I have water. I make sure in my car, I have water. I have my alarm clock. It alarms every 1 or 2 hours. So I should take a sip of water to be able to get that goal. So you have to set up all those parameters to be able to make the path so easy for you to journey through and achieve that goal that you set up for yourself.
Dr. Njoyi. And you are watching Voice of Chat Night Africa. My name is Divine Chamukong. There is an interesting note that Reverend Father Moore post, and I read, I did explain to my doctor why I cannot give up eating fufu corn, and he understood. There are things we do to neutralize side effects. Goals should be proactive, and I like trying to hear this. Goals should be proactive, not mysterious, but just a step forward, noting nothing radical works totally. That is a text sent to us from Reverend Father Maurice Aqua. Thank you, Father, for the text. You can also now dial the number 240-603-7367, 240-603-67, and Planet Earth. All the nooks and crannies of Planet Earth will hear you. Hear what, if you have resolutions to share, why not? Let's have it. Let's be each other's encourager. At this point, I'm going to bring on Dr. Divine Change on the platform. Dr. D, a lot of women are very quick. I mean, and lots of them will be listening now, or will be listening later. This broadcast is on our website, www.chatnightafrica.net. It's on our YouTube channel, Chat Night Africa. It's on my personal timeline. It's going to be on the timeline of Divine and Florence. It's on the broadcast page of Chat Night Africa, followed by thousands and thousands of people across the globe. Lots of women care a lot about their weight. They want to lose weight. Now listen to this. Some want to lose weight because there's an upcoming wedding. Some lose weight because they've been told if they did not lose that weight, death would be knocking at their doorsteps without making a phone call. Which one is more likely to be the reason that drives accomplishment, that drives results? Which one more is better result driven? The need to go party at a wedding, and then, lady just bought that dress from I don't know where, a nice handbag and a nice high heel pointed shoes, and then this other woman, because of health concerns, which is a better driver to get that accomplished?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question, D. And I would say this. This actually is bringing us to what I talked about before, which is the question, what is your why? What is your why? Now, that question is very subjective. It's subjective in the sense that it would really depend on the person. Now, there are some people whose desire to fit in a wedding dress and to have all those wedding pictures and to look a certain way can be a very strong driver in terms of changing behavior, because that matters a lot to them, how they are seen by their friends or the public. There are some people whose health is paramount, and that is a strong driver. So this is what I would say. We should not put their need or different resolutions or different whys in a particular box and say one is more important than the other. We would be wrong. But let's put it in the sense that let's decide which one motivates you more, which one matters to you more, which one would actually influence you to not only take that behavior, but maintain it for a very long time. For some people, it could be that wedding, and for some people, it could be health reasons. So I would say both are very good motivators, but whichever is stronger for you, it has to matter to you. And if it does, and then that is really what is important. And I would like to just comment on what Father Morris actually put there, the note that he put. And I will say,
correct.
I would say I actually stand with Father Morris. This is why. Now, in the field of medicine and healthcare, there is a principle called the principle of beneficence. And the principle of beneficence, it states that whatever you are doing, whatever medications you are taking, or whatever therapy that you are going through, it should benefit you more than it should hurt you. Because all medications have a side effects. Most things have a pro and a con. But if the benefits outweigh the cost, then it is good for you. Now, directly tying into what Father Morris was saying, there are times some of these things that we really like eating your fufu or eating peanuts. If these are very important to you in the sense that if you give them up, it's going to affect you psychologically in such a tremendous way that it might even start impacting your health, and then it is not worth it. That means that the negative effects outweigh the positive effects. And a lot of research has been done to provide evidence that psychological torture or psychological worry has an influence on heart disease, has an influence on cancer, on many other health or physical health issues that we might be going through. So yes, if it can affect you psychologically by not eating peanuts or by not eating your fufu, it might be beneficial than even some of the resolutions that you decide to actually make. Thank you.
Have you heard anyone resolve that they are not going to lie? And how easy is that to follow through it? They're not going to lie. Yes.
Yes. And so this, at the beginning of the show, I talked about social constructs. And many times social constructs, they conflict with what we want to do for ourselves or what our behaviors are. So we understand that lying is a social construct that is being frowned against. And in order to place yourself in a certain position in society or to be viewed in one way or the other, you would set all these resolutions. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to. But how do you feel inside? So that is often a conflict that would be difficult to resolve. And that is why you set these resolutions. And if it's not inside you, if it's not internal. So New Year resolutions have to align with your internal locus of control. And what that means is you have to be able to control what happens inside of you and not depend on what happens outside of you. But you'd realize that most of us are actually influenced by what happens outside of us, what your friends think, what your peers think, what society thinks, and that might not be what you want to do for yourself. So resolutions, to start with, has to be something that happens inside of you, what you do for yourself, how you think and how you feel inside, because that is going to strengthen your why, and it's going to be very easy for you to set goals. Like Dr. Florence was saying right there, that going to school at 50, that is something she had decided she wants to motivate her family. She wants to do it for herself. So this was internal. She did not really care too much how people will view her outside her immediate environment, how her circle would think, and I'm sure that there must be people who told her at that time, Mama, you don't have an old for go school. Oh. You are too old to go to school. Are you sure you are going to do it? She had that, but because the inside was stronger than the outside, she pushed through. So internally, you have to decide that this is really strong. This is what I want to do. And then you would find a why, and then it will be easy to push through.
Voices of Africa. If it matters to you, it matters to us.
We love Voices of Africa. Keep watching.
And now you're watching my friend, Dr. Florence Njoyi. We're on the platform momentarily to take some questions. And please, Dr. D, begin to closing statements because we're going to be wrapping up shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, Dr. Florence Njoyi. Dr. Florence, is it important for people who are serves to look for partners that hold them accountable? If the answer is yes, why?
Thank you for that question, Dee. It is very, very, very important for someone or anybody to seek for support. You could call it a mentor, you could call it just a partner, but it's always advantageous when you have somebody that you have to be accountable to after being accountable to yourself. The accountability starts with you to reflect and review what you have done, how you are doing it, and what is the outcome. Are you getting the desired outcome? If you had added somebody in the program, that person will be able to judge, not having negative judgment on not you are not doing well or that, but giving you feedback that if you had done this, it will be better, or if you continue this path, the outcome will be good. So I actually encourage everybody to have somebody you look upon as a support, you look upon to consult with, you look upon like a mentor, and you look upon like somebody that could hold your hand in such a way that you could navigate everything that comes your way, the challenges, the emotions, the difficulties. You could navigate it easily to arrive at the desired outcome of your resolution.
You are watching Voices of Africa. Dr. Florence Njoyi. And please prepare your closing statements because we'll be wrapping up momentarily. Time for us to get back on the platform, Dr. Change, for his closing remarks. And if there are any other things which he wants to add, he's free to do that now. Dr. D, back on the platform. So, what people have listened to the why people, what the drivers are that get people, that what the ingredients are that get people to make resolutions. We have identified what the roadblocks are. We have identified how they could get to where they want to. What would you like somebody listening to you now? Remember that once upon a time, There was this smart guy who came on Voices of Africa called Dr. Divine Chiange. And this is what I remember he told me about making New Year resolutions or rebranding self. Dr. D.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, D, my namesake. So I will start by saying this. Before you make a New Year resolution, you always have to ask yourself, why am I having a resolution in the first place? Now, you need to ask yourself that question very deeply. And most importantly, you have to think inside and not outside. How does this matter to me? How will this add value to me in one way or the other? The reason why you need to ask yourself that question is because if it really doesn't matter to you, it is not planted on solid ground. It is not planted on healthy soil, and it's going to fade away. So ask yourself, how is this important to me? How will this change my life positively? It's very important. After you ask yourself that question and you are sure that this resolution matters to you internally and will add value in your life positively, then you move on to phase 2. Phase 2 is, how am I going to do this? Now, this is very important. This is one of the stages that you do not have to minimize, because this will determine if you actually accomplish your New Year resolution. And it is goal setting. How am I going to do this? Now, you have to make sure that your goals are smart. Like I said before, it has to be specific, in the sense that don't just make a broad goal that cuts across different things. Choose something very specific. I know that it's very common. People talk about their health, their eating habits, something to do with family, but you can narrow it down till you can narrow it no more. Choose something very specific that you can focus on, because if it's specific, then you can easily handle. Then you have to be able to measure. Very important to measure the goals that you're setting for yourself, because if it cannot be measured, it cannot be attained. Very important. So you should be able to say, in a week, I should have accomplished this. So measuring is very important and attainable. It should be something that you can actually do, not something that just comes from nowhere and not realistic. So if you say you want to lose 100 pounds in 2 months, you know that's not realistic. So something that is attainable, something that is relevant to you, and something that you can measure with time. So it's very important. And most importantly, you have to make sure that if you are succeeding in accomplishing that resolution, you should maintain that accomplishment and surround yourself with people that can support you in that mission. It's very important, because if your circle always kicks against your mission, yes, you would say, I'm going to do this no matter what happens. I don't care who thinks about what I'm doing. I don't care if you don't like it or not. At some point, it's going to get to you. So surround yourself with people that would support your goal, would support your mission, and would lift you up. In general, if you always do that, it has a positive psychological effect on you and would influence you, your goals, and your life positively. Thank you so much.
This is what Hetty Awambon says. Oh, look, Doc, you know, I just love this show, not because I initiated it, anchor it. I love it because I bring big book people like you, and I learn a lot. Live, believe me, it's a learning experience. It's a journey. Learning is a journey, not a destination. I want to thank you so much. If I've not forgotten, this is the first time I've brought a psychologist to come on this program, and we'll have a lot of things to say. When you look at how people do things in society, believe me, they're generating a lot of leads which we can talk about on Chat Night Africa. Because if it concerns you, it concerns us. You watching, you to watch later, are at the center of how we make decisions on the topics that we bring here and bring guests to share so generously the knowledge with you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Happy New Year to you. May God bless you, bless your family, your children. Thank you so much, sir. I can't thank you enough.
And thank you as well. Thank you for inviting me. And I just want to thank everyone that is listening, because if you're listening, that means it is important to you, and it is also a very vital part of that goal setting, because it's not only about setting goals, it's also about surrounding yourself with the resources, and information is a very vital resource in achieving whatever goals that you have for yourself. So information is power, and more information is more power. So thank you so much.
Now you see why Hetia Wambeng says you nailed it, doctor. I thought with a 6 inches nail, but with a 12 inches nail, that's 6 times 2. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And that is our friend, Dr. Divine Chiange. At this point, bring on the only lady here tonight on the show, the first show this year, 2023. You know, I'm being careful to not say 2022. People are still writing the old year when they're writing stuff out. Anyway, so let's now bring for her closing remarks this powerful woman who at 50 decided it was time she did a doctorate in behavioral health sciences. Here is Dr. Florence Njoyi. You are watching Chat Night Africa, the power of Chat Night being your presence out there, but also our guest accepting to come and share their knowledge with you. We choose topics so carefully that they be topics that empower you, that muscle you up. You become good man, like we say, man for good. This is fun doing this. I love this. Dr. Florence, some upon a time came a lady on Chat Night Africa, and she spoke so brilliantly. Thank you, ma'am. What would you like? What are the nuggets you want somebody to just like some cubes of sugar that they bundle home, to take home, to put on the table in times of for breakfast? You know, back home we have those cubes, those sugar. So what is it you like people to remember you for as you are about to on the topic on this platform, Chat Night Africa?
Thank you, Dee, for this opportunity. And Dr. D already said the processes and approaches. I would just add my personal experience and just let you know how best you can actually craft a goal or a resolution and you achieve it. The first thing, like I earlier said, that helped me was to get away with procrastination. I replaced procrastination with reflection. I reflected a lot on the goal or my goals, what I want to do. And I actually worked on my emotions of fear. There was always that fear in me that, can I make it? Is it possible for me to do it? How can an old lady be able to go back to school and make it? I worked on my emotions and I worked on the fear. And doing that, I actually look for support. In our community, in our society, there is a lot of individuals who are the resource bank. Reach out. Don't be an isolated island. Reach out. Talk about your goals. Talk about your challenges. Talk about what you are visualizing to achieve during that period that you set up the goal. Another huge thing that I learned was family support. My family and my peers gave me the highest support during my years in the program that was or is unimaginable. So reach out to your family, reach out to your peers, tell them. In our culture, you sometimes say, oh, nobody would like to know that I'm going to school now and all. No, tell them what you are doing, tell them your plans, tell them your goals, and seek for support. The small that they put in one way or the other, just even calling to check on you how you are doing, is a huge support that can help you navigate towards the outcome that you desire. Always review your goals. What I did was I review my goals every quarter. Every 3 months, I review the goal, I redefine it, I reset it, I rebrand it, and I move forward with those that were easy for me to achieve. And looking at all those stuff, you remember that as an individual, your thought process, your emotions determine your behavior. If your thought process is that which is accepting the goals, as earlier explained by Dr. D, in terms of you can do it, you have the emotions of accepting it. Those emotions of acceptance would actually lead to motivation. And when you are motivated, you are able to actually relate it to the behavior that you need to change. That said, I will encourage everybody not to fall short of your goal, that there were no resources. There are resources out there that we can actually utilize to achieve the goals that we want to achieve at a specific time. Thank you once more for bringing me in the program. Thank you for being the first lady to be on 2023. And I send out inspiration, courage, motivation to everybody who wants to go to school. Knowledge is power. Thank you.
Thank you. Here's what Father Maurice Aqua says about you. Dr. Njoyi is a courageous and very I admire her visions. That's from Reverend Father Maurice Aqua. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of this broadcast. I want to thank those who dropped in some notes for us to share, because it is not mine. I'm just the anchor. I want to thank Father Maurice Aqua. I want to thank Rose Mary Ngetsa. I tell you what about, let me just tell you something, Mary. Rosemary teaches Scrum Master Sonority program. If you sit in her class, this woman has some fire I've never seen before. She is extraordinary. I mean, she's extraordinary in her teaching methods. So genuine, a woman of integrity, towering integrity. Rosemary is something else. She is a community leader, but the taste of the pudding is in the mouth. Contact Rosemary, and once she opens her mouth, you just love hanging out with her. She's just such a wonderful, wonderful human being. Thank you, Rosemary. I also want to thank those who last year supported the production. That platform looks this beautiful because people support it. I'm so grateful to you. People, I couldn't do this all by myself. Audiovisual broadcasting is very expensive. And they prefer to remain anonymous. I'm just so grateful to you. Let me say something. I will not, come rain, come shine, I will not fail you. I want to also thank my producer who is producing this program thousands of miles away from where I am, Ze Roger Fool. He's from Menchum Division in the northwest region of Cameroon, residing in Lagos, Nigeria. Soon, and very soon, on this platform, you will be having the topic, why do people drop off their feet? Athletes looking so fit, muscular. Remember Mark Vienfoy? Remember, I could go on and on and on. Why do somebody just, looking so fit, exercising like a monster in the gym every day, morning and night, in a soccer pitch, just drop off their feet and die? What happens? You must have heard about that mother, that father who went to sleep in the evening and just didn't get up in the morning. What is happening in people's hearts? We will be bringing a cardiologist to answer your questions. That's because if it concerns you, it concerns us. Ladies and gentlemen, Happy New Year, and we hope to do even better than we did last year. God being our helper. Thank you for watching. My name is Divine Chamukong. I anchor this broadcast from Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. Bye for now, and see you soon, and very soon.
I'm coming back. I'm coming back. I'm coming to get down. I'm coming to dance, We're gonna dance, we're gonna get down, we're gonna party hardy, we're gonna boogie woogie, and when we jam, it's out of sight. This song right here, it's dynamite. I'm ready, I'm coming.